Hello, welcome to my channel, or welcome back. Thank you to everyone that saw the first video, and in this lesson, which is our second one, we're going to continue on how to draw, and the subject is texture. It's a very easy but very important subject, so thank you for being here, and like and subscribe. Let's get into it. So first, we're going to need to draw a few rectangles or squares, doesn't matter, whichever you like. I'm going to use a fine liner so you can see better, but you can use any pen or pencil or paper that you like. And I'm going to use a ruler. You can draw with your hands, doesn't matter, whichever you prefer. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, now I drew two horizontal squares and one vertical. I'll tell you, we're going to use this later, but first we're going to work with these two. So the first texture that I'm going to show you is by using dots. It's a very easy method of giving something texture. It's kind of a rough shape, like something like a cement form if you want to create, or you can use it for any type of shading. Now there are professional artists out there that use this method for their whole drawing, their whole painting. So it's a very common use formatting of texture, but you have to be careful. There is a big drawback using this method. The drawback is that it takes a whole lot of time. It needs a very patient person to do it perfectly. So that's how the first format that we're going to use. Now you can start with any of the corners that you want, doesn't matter, and be careful not to make these squares or rectangles too big. So it's easy. Just start by putting down some dots at the beginning, or whichever part that you want. Put a whole bunch of these dots, and as you're going forward you can extend their place and location and the numbers that you do. Now the beauty of this method is that at the beginning you could just spread them out however you want, and then you can focus a little bit more. You can see, okay, I don't have enough dots here, so let's add more. And I think that's good enough. Okay, so you can focus more, you can do lots of other type of textures. And now the second one here, I'm going to do it in a different way. This time I'm going to be focused on the center and spread out. Let's see what we can get. Okay, I think that's good enough for now, but as you can see, there's quite a whole base of ideas that you can use this method with, but again, you have to be very patient and sometimes skillful to focus where and when on this method. So I can even work more on this with lots more details. I might do that at the end, but that's good enough for now. Alright, now let's use this in a practical form. Let me draw you something. Let me teach you something that you can draw easily, and it's actually pretty fun and nice. So the thing that I want you to draw, I'm going to use a pencil, because after that I'm going to use my fine liner again and erase the lines so you can see the difference. Now, draw a shape, whatever shape you want. Like, it doesn't have to be something specific, just some random lines like this. Yeah, something like this. See? No specific format. And then, all of these parts that you can see here, draw a straight line down. Now, it doesn't have to be straight, it can be like something like this. Now, some of them can be shorter, some of them can be longer. This one I'm going to make shorter. This one isn't going to be too much, and something like this. And now, let's connect these. Don't connect them in a straight form and way. It's different types of angles. And this is what we call a basic rock. Now there's many shapes that you can create. Doesn't matter what shapes you like. It can be something much more simple or something more complicated. This one, I'm going to create a straight line here, there, there, and there. See, this one's a little bit more easier, but this one's completely broken down. Now, let's use our method, our dot method, to give this rock some texture. So we have two areas, the main top area and this down part on the thickness of this base. So there are many ways you can do this. You can choose whichever way. You can give it a shade format, or you could just randomly start dotting it from one direction to the other. Okay, let's see. Okay, that's it. Now, let me bring an eraser and see what we can get when we erase all the lines. Okay, just by adding a few dots, you can create a whole structure. And as you can see, it's actually not that bad. Let me bring it a little bit closer. So you can create a whole structure of forms and textures with this method. Okay, before we go and start working on this one, I want to tell you that the other way that you can make some textures is by creating lines. By different forms and shapes that you do with your lines, you can easily create textures. So before we go here, let me show you an example. Now, here whenever you want to make a texture, you have to be careful not to use straight lines. You have to wiggle them a little bit. Very small forms and shapes depending on what type and how rough of a texture you want to create. Okay, so something like this. This is an example that's something like a carpet you want to create. Small forms, go forward, go back, keep going. When you get somewhere, you can change the form in the direction that your lines are going. Like, I'm going to change it to this side. And you keep going, you can go however far you want, it's okay. And based on the line shapes that you do, you can create different types of shapes and texture. Okay, I just did the second part of the tutorial, but unfortunately my phone didn't focus on it, so I'm going to do it one more time. I'll show you a little bit of it, how it happened. Alright, so don't worry about this. I'm going to talk about it. Now, another way you can use this, another example, is what we're going to do with this rectangular here. So, just like the example you see here, I'm going to draw another one. it's very easy. First, you can start wherever you like. I'm going to start from here and draw a line, nothing too straight, and some parts of it you can create like a bump, and then come down, and then you can go back up from right here and create an oval shaped bump here in the middle, and then you go down again. We're gonna create a little bit of a bump over here, down there. Give it some rough form of lining, because this is a wooden style texture. Now, depending on the wood that you want to create, some woods are very smooth, so you don't need that much wiggling. Now, let's fill in these shapes. You can use like some types of eye-shaped forms, or you can make it circular over oval shapes, and then draw something like a little bit darker in the middle. And that's it. That's how we get a tree form of texture. You can use it on a tree, you can use it on something like a table. Whenever you want a wood texture, this is a basic way that you could do that. For our last practice, we're going to draw something. Now, here I have a few leaves. Now, you can use just one leaf, or you can find another subject that has some type of texture on it. Now, if you want to use a leaf, you can use a real model like this, or you can go on Google and search whatever type of leaf that you like. There's thousands, so don't worry about it. Choose whatever you like, doesn't matter. But choose something that has like weird edges like this, and has some very small textures in the middle that can add more flavor and more context to your drawing and whatever you're doing. Okay, so first I'm going to start with a simple pencil, and then I'm going to continue with a fine liner. Alright, here we go. So first you have to draw and find the base. Usually it's better to start from the stem and then the basic structure in the middles. I could have just chosen one of the leaves. That would have been enough for this practice, but I wanted to make a little challenge for myself. Okay, yeah, that's that. That is the overall shape, but we're not done yet. Now we have to add more. Right now, whoever sees this will know that this is a leaf. It's a bunch of leaves that we have, but we still got more to do with it. Now is this, we're going to go to the second part of the texture. From this part we really don't need the leaf anymore. You can put it aside, but it's a nice looking leaf. A bunch of leaves that I like. Now we have to give it more depth by adding more lines. Here is where our line work can increase the quality of the form factors and textures. And then after we did the middle part, we're going to go to these small lines here. Now these lines here, you have to add some wiggly movement to it. Here, as you saw, I could have added more wiggly here, but since we had different parts, we didn't need any more. But in the middle, we're going to add more and more wiggly shapes. They're almost mirrored, but not exactly. Okay, so that's the base point, and now I'm going to use the fine liner. Now this is a 0.3 fine liner. I'm going to use a smaller one, a 0.1 that I have, which is a little bit better. But if you got to this point, you can even finish it with your pencil. You can add more lines to it, you can add dots, whichever method you like, that's fine. You do that. But if you have a fine liner, you can do the same practice like I do here. And that's that. So this is what we have here with the outline base. Now we can continue it by adding a dot texture to it, and I think I will. But if you got to this level, then you're done. You've learned what you have to from this practice. But practice as much as you can and want. So the last thing that we're going to do in this video is we're going to use the dotted method that I told you, and we're going to give it some depth to this and some texture to it. And the way that I'm gonna work this is mostly I'm going to focus on the mid parts and on these veins that we drew, and a little bit on the outer part of the leaves. And if you're using fine liners or pencils that are different, like B1, B2, we'll talk a little bit more about pencils in another video, you can mix them all together. You don't need to use just one. But if you want to, you can always just use one, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. But that depends on what type of texture you want to create. You can increase your options. And that's going to be the end of the video when I finish this. So if you liked the video and if you learned something, hey, give me a like and subscribe. And if you have any ideas at what you want me to do or what I should add, leave a comment down in this, on this video. And I'll see you guys in the next lesson.